Wow, what fine music. Thank you, Mr. Hilton, Harvard-Westlake student musicians. First period, second period, and then come out here and play. You're really, that's fantastic. Welcome, honored guests, Harvard-Westlake trustees and parents of our students. Welcome, Harvard-Westlake faculty and staff, friends and colleagues. Welcome especially Harvard-Westlake students. We are two campuses, but one school, and this convocation celebrates our unity in a most significant way. There are nearly 2,000 of us assembled on Ted Slavin Field this morning. A special shout out for the two groups of students seated next to each other in the best seats in the house, the apex of the semicircle, the bleachers. First, to our newest and youngest students, our 7th graders, the class of 2021. Welcome to Harvard-Westlake. Seated next to them, the class of 2016. In advance of their year-long term as official school leaders, with appreciation for their many talents and great capacity for caring, we salute and thank the senior class, our 25th class, our silver anniversary class. Opening convocation is a Harvard-Westlake tradition. It hasn't always looked exactly like this, our entire community assembled as we are now, but it has a long history. Like other Harvard-Westlake traditions and rituals, the honor code signing ceremony, senior ceremony, graduation, opening convocation is a link to our past and a connection to our future. We take this intentional time out to embrace our history, to recommit to common purpose, and to give thanks. So what elements of our past, our history, do we honor today? First, we honor strong student leadership, a hallmark of our school. In an investiture ceremony this morning, our school leaders will pledge their support of the school's mission. Our head prefects, Grace Pan and Hunter Brookman, will convey for the first time their leadership aspirations. Today's ceremony also honors the two schools that are Harvard-Westlake's parents, so to speak. Today's ceremony has Harvard school roots and Westlake school roots. The past underlies our present. At some point in Harvard School's 100-year history, student leaders, then as now called prefects, began wearing the symbolic red and black robes you will see today. Embroidered into the lining of each senior prefect's robes are 24 names, the names of every Harvard-Westlake prefect who has ever worn that robe. At the end of this year of leadership, Grace, Hunter, Helene, Jordan, Shelby, and Adam will have their names sewn into the lining of the robe. At some point in Westlake School's 100-year history, the young women adopted a motto for the school, a line of poetry written more than 2,000 years ago. In his epic poem Aeneid, Roman poet Virgil wrote, "Passant quia posse videntur." They can because they think they can. And that powerful and optimistic declaration became Harvard-Westlake's motto and is now embroidered on the front of the prefect's robes. Dear students, you are part of a community of girls and boys, men and women, who have learned at Harvard and Westlake and Harvard-Westlake and have gone on to do great things, to live lives of integrity and purpose beyond self. Our school's motto is, they can because they think they can, and not, I can because I think I can. And that brings me to what I believe is most meaningful about our opening convocation tradition. Here, all together in one place, teachers and students, staff members and parents, 7th graders and seniors, we are reminded of the strength of our community, of our interdependence and enhanced capacity to do wondrous things when we work together. The Latin root of the word competition is competere, which means strive in common or strive together. We can because we think we can. To compete at Harvard-Westlake is to strive together. We need each other. It is entirely likely that you are sitting next to a friend right now, and it's quite possible that you became friends with that person here at school. And it wouldn't be surprising if that friend became an even better friend when she or he helped you meet a challenge, get through a tough time, become stronger in some way. If that is the case, then I encourage you to find some time today to thank your friend, either overtly or with a small act of kindness. We intentionally have taken this time out, this hour on the first day of school, to convey our gratitude for community. Extend those good feelings by giving thanks as well for friendship. Filled with pride and gratitude for this great and wonderful community, I wish you all a most happy New Year. And now, Harvard-Westlake President, Mr. Commons.
Good morning, everyone. Would all student body representatives please step forward? Let's give them a round of applause, shall we? Yes, all of you. As student body representatives, you have been chosen by the members of your class to represent and serve them and the community at large. Will you share the burden of responsibility for the vigor, quality, and integrity of student life at Harvard-Westlake by striving to carry out the following duties honestly, diligently, and to the best of your ability?
We will.
Will you faithfully execute the duties of your office to the best of your ability without fear or favor?
We will.
Will you make yourselves wholesome examples to this school and for a purpose larger than yourselves, including the welfare of your fellow students and this community?
We will.
Will you exercise moral leadership within the student body of Harvard-Westlake School?
We will.
Will you embrace thoughtful consideration rather than simply endorsing popular opinion, acting as a representative of all students' needs and concerns?
We will.
Upper school prefects, one of your additional duties is to sit as necessary as student representatives on the honor board for our community. As such, you have been selected by your peers to uphold and perpetuate the values embedded in the honor code. This is a weighty responsibility. Do you affirm your commitment to uphold the principles of trust, honesty, and integrity, both as the honor board and in your everyday lives as members of the Harvard-Westlake community?
We do.
Will you undertake these responsibilities with fairness and impartiality?
We will.
Having heard you affirm your commitment to the principles manifested in the honor code, I vest you in the authority to do what is right, fair, and just in our community under its honor code. Will all representatives now please be seated? Your head prefects, Hunter Brookman and Grace Pan, will now read the honor code.
As a member of the Harvard-Westlake school community, I will let my conscience be my guide in my everyday actions and endeavors at Harvard-Westlake.
I will neither give nor receive unauthorized aid, as defined by my teacher both explicitly and implicitly, from any source on exams, homework, quizzes, papers, or any other academic endeavor.
I will not steal or violate others' property, either academic or material. I will not violate the person of others or the person of the school.
I will pledge my honesty to the school community, and I expect others to be responsible and do the same.
On all my work, my name affirms my honor.
Now, as is tradition, will the senior and head prefects please stand and come forward with your sponsors to the front of the stage. Helena Miles, Jordan Strom, Shelby Weiss, Adam Yaron, I invest you as senior prefects. And you, Grace and Hunter, in addition to the promises already made in the execution of your particular responsibilities as head prefects, in leading your fellow prefects, in chairing the honor board, in fulfilling the tasks and answering the call put forward to you by members of this community, will you be diligent and faithful to the best of your abilities?
We will.
And now, I turn to all of you, all students, faculty, and staff in our community. Will all of you who have witnessed the inauguration of these elected officers, your chosen leaders, do all in your power to support them in the work they have promised to do? One more time. Thank you. Please be seated. And now we will hear from our head prefects. First, Grace Pan.
I can pretty conclusively say that this is my first time speaking in front of thousands of people. Students, faculty, staff, parents, and all streaming online. Now, looking out at all of you, it sure looks big. But it doesn't feel big. It doesn't feel big because I know the people I can depend on are still out there. I know Montana's still out there. The girl who lighted up AP Bio last year by complimenting Mr. Axelrod's humor with hers, and who tags me in surreal llama videos on Instagram. I know Brendan's still out there, the boy who made it his mission to take selfies with everyone in our grade, and with whom I hope I can still carpool to school with this year. I know Miss Riola is still out there, inspiring her students to discover the beauty of music and of collaboration. I know the maintenance crew is still out there, constantly working to make our school a better place. Every familiar face empowers me to speak in front of you today. And for those of you who I don't know yet, I still know we are tied together because of one thing: Harvard-Westlake. That's what I'm talking about, class of 2016. Undoubtedly, you're gonna learn a lot of lessons this year. The lesson of how much organization pays off in geometry, of how the ratification of the US Constitution came to be, of the type of person you want to become as a new Harvard-Westlake student. Some lessons you'll ponder over for days, and some you'll grapple with in vain. Today, I have the honor of offering you one of your first lessons of the year. Before I launch in, allow me to share a little about myself. I entered Harvard-Westlake as a 7th grader. Pretty self-conscious about being 5 feet tall, but nonetheless really excited about the universe that was opening up to me. Having my older sister Chelsea there as a big bad 9th grader gave me a cushion of confidence. Now, if you haven't met my sister, we look a lot alike. We're both tiny with black hair, brown eyes, and identical mannerisms. If you don't believe me, here's proof. Her sister, not her sister, her friends, I'm her sister. Her friends called me Mini Chelsea. The yearbook labeled me as Chelsea Pan, and even my mom mixes us up at times. Anyways, when you get called twins as often as we do, it's easy to start comparing yourself to the other. While Chelsea is soft-spoken, artistic, and academic, like your typical firstborn, I am outspoken and adventurous, maybe a little impulsive. If I'm telling the truth, throughout my childhood, I would, without trying, use my sister as a stepping stone for success. But since I knew I can never outcompete her in her meticulousness, I decided to tap into my own strength, and thus began my time on Prefect Council and the most spectacular, transformative journey of my life. I'd just go as far as to say that if I had a different sibling, I would be a different person. Now, the reason I'm going on to you about my family dynamics is because we are family too. And what's wonderful about our Harvard-Westlake family is that our parents value each of our niches equally. The varsity basketball athlete receives just as much acclaim as the genius chemist, the theater heartthrob as much as the concert cellist. Just by being a member of the Harvard-Westlake community, we're all blessed with fabulous genes. So take advantage of the resources around our house. Your deans, your teachers, the programs available to you, and especially your siblings. That is, the people sitting next to you. Start bonding with your Harvard-Westlake family. They're all so special if you just take the time to empathize. It's easy to let the looming prospect of college cloud your judgment, to make you push your friends down rather than leveraging that incentive to boost yourself up. Comparisons are always unfair because we typically compare the worst of ourselves to the best we presume in others. Competition teaches you about your limits, about losing and getting up again, about working hard in the face of adversity, about being creative. But that all starts with you. Recognize what you're good at and work endlessly to make yourself better at it. It's possible. Chelsea and I are closer now than ever before because we chose to learn from each other. I believe that if I attended a different school, I would be a different person as well. But I am unapologetic when I say that if I were to do it all over again, my choice would be the same. My vision for Harvard-Westlake this year is to grow closer as family. Thank you and have an unforgettable first day.
I started Harvard-Westlake 5 years ago, and I had no idea who I was. I was overwhelmed with uncertainty and uncomfortably shy and timid. But I was completely certain about one thing. I could not screw up my opening hip-hop number at my bar mitzvah. For 6 weeks, my mom drove me Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays to Heart Entertainment headquarters in Woodland Hills to have private lessons with Jackie, my head choreographer. I am anything but a dancer. I was and still am an introvert at heart. What if I totally humiliated myself? What if this was the worst idea ever? Jackie had faith in me and assured me that I could pull it off. The moment had finally come. It was time for my grand entrance. I think it was Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's twin who threw me over his shoulders, brought me into the cheering room, and set all 4'11" of me center stage, ready to do this thing. For that moment, I became somebody I never imagined I could be. I felt free. After all the hours of preparation, my dance was over. I didn't fall on my face, so I must not have made a complete fool of myself. Because I was so obsessed with perfecting my dance, the rest of the evening has become nothing but a blur, a fleeting memory. Standing here today, ready to embark on my senior year, sometimes I feel as if I have sped through Harvard-Westlake and I have lost a part of myself along the way. Having seen the tremendous success people have achieved here, before I even started, I feared I might not measure up, and I would revert back to that boy in preschool who aimlessly walked around with his hands in his pockets. I was filled with self-doubt, and so I showed up in 7th grade, desperately trying to find my place, fit in, and figure out where I would belong. I was searching for absolute certainty in each step I would take, fearing that one wrong move would throw me off track. And I sincerely regret the many times I never had the courage to pause, slow down, and be in the moment, embracing the endless opportunities at Harvard-Westlake. And today, I still find myself racing to get to the end of my routine, hungry for certainty of what my next move will be. Now, as I mentally prepare for my biggest opening number, I am ready to slow down. As we each take the stage for another dance at Harvard-Westlake, let us not lose ourselves trying to make all the right moves when we have not even stopped to listen to the music. Let us learn to trust ourselves. Believe that we can each become the person we were meant to be and move to the music being played. Look around you. This is Harvard-Westlake. I think our entire community would all agree time is our most precious and yet limited resource. To my classmates, in 9 months, we will never be together in the same way again. To everyone, let us stop, look around, and dance to the ever-changing beat at Harvard-Westlake. Listening to the rhythm will open us all up to infinite possibilities. And for more than just an instant, you can become the person you never once imagined you could be. During your time at Harvard-Westlake, you will test yourselves, make connections, and leave here ready to take on life, making our Harvard-Westlake dance our finest, most timeless piece that we will have ever choreographed together. Please do not wait until it is too late to ensure that the path we have taken was not just a fleeting memory. Embrace your time at the greatest school in the world. Here is to us, here is to our future, and here is to the future of Harvard-Westlake. Thank you.
Thank you, Grace. Thank you, Hunter. Quite inspiring. Thank you, Dr. Hybrex, for your words and your leadership. What a privilege it is to be here with all of you, middle school and upper school, all at once. Thank you all for being a part of this first day and coming together as one school. You will not be surprised by the 26 words I want to focus on this morning. Since last year's convocation, when I introduced them, I have tried to put these words at the center of everything that we do. Harvard-Westlake strives to be a diverse and inclusive community united by the joyful pursuit of educational excellence, living and learning with integrity, and purpose beyond ourselves. Those 26 words elegantly identify what we strive to be, but the statement would have to be quite lengthy to begin to identify how we strive. However, I submit that the most important piece of the how has been set vividly before us this morning already, as each prefect was robed by a specially selected faculty or staff member. The most important part of how Harvard-Westlake strives to be is through relationships. Whether you are a new student or are starting your 6th year at Harvard-Westlake, you are here to form relationships with each other, yes, but also with teachers, coaches, and mentors who will know you, inspire you, and believe in you. So I urge you as we begin the year to be ready to respond, ready to engage, open to inspiration and to belief. And faculty and staff, let us not forget that this is why we are here also. Not primarily to transmit knowledge, not primarily to teach skills. We do those things as a means to knowing, inspiring, and believing in our students so that they learn to pursue excellence with joy, learn to live with integrity, and discover purpose beyond themselves. As school gets underway and life becomes so busy that we don't seem to have time for anything more than what's on the schedule, it is easy to lose sight of what we are striving for and how. That sight is before you this morning in these relationships on the stage. If you remember anything from this day and this ceremony, I hope you remember them. And so I conclude with this. Great things will be accomplished at our school this year, but they will be much greater and much more worthwhile if we remember that we are here primarily to inspire and believe in each other. Some logistics. In a few minutes, upper school classes will resume and buses bound for the middle school will reload, but first, we need to spend a little more time together. It's 9:45. Upper school classes will begin at 10 a.m. Middle school buses will reload at 10 a.m. There are Diddy Reese cookies and water underneath the tent to my right. Let's gather there, spend some time together, and have a great year. Harvard-Westlake's 25th year has officially begun. Thank you.